Imagine waking up one day and realizing that everything you once believed, everything you once clung to, is no longer serving you. Your spirit is calling for something deeper, something more real. True awakening requires letting go. In this video, we'll uncover 6 things highly spiritual people quit, slowly but surely. Quitting the need for external validation is the first major step in spiritual awakening. The moment you realize that your worth is not determined by the opinions of others, you begin to free yourself from the endless cycle of seeking approval. Society conditions us to measure our value through external metrics, praise, recognition, social media likes, or professional achievements. But none of these things define who we are at our core. The reality is that validation from others is fleeting. It changes with trends, with moods, with circumstances beyond our control. Highly spiritual individuals understand that self-worth must come from within. They stop adjusting their identity to fit into societal expectations or personal relationships that demand conformity. Instead, they listen to their inner voice, the one that knows their true nature beyond labels, beyond fleeting moments of external recognition. They begin to live authentically, no longer afraid of being misunderstood or unappreciated. They find peace in knowing that their journey is not meant to be approved by everyone. True self-acceptance emerges, and with it comes an unshakable sense of confidence. They move through life with a quiet assurance, no longer burdened by the need to please or impress. Letting go of material attachments is another fundamental shift in spiritual awakening. The world teaches us that success is measured by how much we accumulate. Houses, cars, luxury items, expensive gadgets. But those who embark on a spiritual path realize that material things offer only temporary satisfaction. They begin to understand that possessions do not equate to happiness or fulfillment. The more they detach from the pursuit of excessive wealth, the more they feel a deep sense of inner abundance. They find joy in simplicity, in experiences rather than objects, in the richness of human connection rather than the weight of ownership. This does not mean they reject money or material comforts entirely, but they refuse to let these things define them. They no longer chase possessions as a means of proving their worth. Instead, they seek richness in wisdom, in moments of presence, in a life that is not cluttered with unnecessary distractions. They realize that what they truly crave is freedom, and true freedom comes when they are no longer enslaved by the need to have more. Their focus shifts from acquiring to appreciating, from holding on to things to letting them flow in and out of their lives naturally. They experience a profound sense of peace in knowing that their happiness does not depend on anything external. Releasing the need for control is another crucial transformation that highly spiritual people undergo. Control is an illusion, yet we spend so much of our lives trying to grasp onto it. We plan, we strategize, we try to predict outcomes, believing that if we just manage everything perfectly, we can avoid pain, disappointment, or failure. But life is unpredictable. No matter how much we try to control it, things will unfold in ways we could never anticipate. The more we resist this truth, the more we suffer. Highly spiritual individuals come to understand that surrender is not weakness, it is the ultimate form of trust. They stop trying to manipulate every detail of their lives and instead align themselves with the natural flow of existence. They learn to embrace uncertainty, to welcome change, to see the unknown not as something to fear, but as an opportunity for growth. They stop clinging to rigid expectations and allow life to surprise them. This does not mean they become passive or indifferent. Rather, they take action with faith, knowing that whatever happens is ultimately serving their highest good. They recognize that life has a wisdom far greater than their own, and by surrendering control, they open themselves up to possibilities beyond their imagination. They stop resisting what is, and in doing so, they find a profound sense of peace. Their energy is no longer wasted on trying to force things to go their way. Instead, they learn to move with the rhythm of life, trusting that they are always being guided. Abandoning toxic relationships is another inevitable step in spiritual awakening. As individuals become more aware of their energy, they start to notice which relationships uplift them and which ones drain them. They begin to see patterns. Certain people in their lives repeatedly bring negativity, manipulation, or emotional turmoil. Some relationships, once held onto out of obligation or fear, start to feel heavy, burdensome, even suffocating. Highly spiritual individuals realize that they cannot grow if they continue to surround themselves with people who hold them back. They no longer tolerate relationships that are based on control, guilt, or superficial connections. They start distancing themselves from those who constantly criticize, manipulate, or diminish their light. This can be one of the most challenging aspects of spiritual growth, as it often involves letting go of people they have known for years, friends, family members, or even romantic partners. But they understand that keeping toxic connections only delays their evolution. In their place, they cultivate relationships that nourish their soul. They attract people who support their growth, who encourage their authenticity, who bring joy and peace into their lives. Their friendships become deeper, more meaningful, based on mutual respect and shared values. They surround themselves with individuals who inspire them to become the best version of themselves. And most importantly, they no longer feel guilty for choosing themselves over relationships that no longer serve them. Ceasing to compromise their authentic self is one of the most liberating aspects of spiritual awakening. For much of their lives, people are conditioned to fit into societal molds. They are taught to behave a certain way, to suppress parts of themselves that do not align with expectations, to play roles that are not true to who they are. But spiritual awakening brings a deep, undeniable realization. They can no longer live for others. They can no longer betray their own soul for the sake of fitting in. Highly spiritual individuals begin to embrace themselves fully, unapologetically. They stop hiding their true nature, whether that means expressing their emotions more openly, pursuing passions that once seemed impractical, or speaking their truth without fear of judgment. They no longer seek approval for who they are because they no longer need it. They accept themselves completely, flaws and all. This newfound authenticity transforms every aspect of their lives. They start making choices that align with their deepest values, even if those choices go against conventional wisdom. They stop conforming to social norms that feel restrictive. They stop suppressing their voice in order to maintain harmony. They recognize that their uniqueness is their greatest strength, and they fully step into it. With this shift comes a profound sense of inner freedom. They no longer wear masks, they no longer pretend, they simply are, and that is enough. Quitting the fear of death is perhaps the most profound shift of all. Death is the ultimate unknown, and for most people it is the greatest source of fear. The thought of ceasing to exist, of losing everything, of entering into the great mystery beyond life, it can be overwhelming. But highly spiritual people come to understand that death is not an end, but a transformation. They begin to see life and death as part of the same cycle, as two sides of the same coin. They recognize that their soul is eternal, that their existence is not confined to this physical form. This realization dissolves their fear. They no longer live in constant worry about when their time will come, nor do they cling desperately to life out of a fear of losing it. Instead, they embrace each moment fully, knowing that nothing is truly lost. This newfound perspective allows them to live more freely. They take more risks, they express love more openly, they embrace change without hesitation. They stop postponing their happiness. They stop waiting for the right time to follow their dreams. They live with a deep appreciation for the present, knowing that every experience, every relationship, every moment is precious. The fear that once held them back is replaced with a deep trust in the journey of the soul. And in this trust, they find the greatest peace of all.